If you drive this morning, if you're a motorist or you drive or you've been a passenger in a car, you'll know something called a dead-end street. You'll know what a dead-end street is. It's a street that you drive up where the road goes no further. Anyone been up a road like that? Dead-end streets are often where we find ourselves, but there are no signs to warn you. Have you noticed that? You can go through life and you can find yourself in a dead-end street and you can't seem to get further. There's like an obstacle and there was no warning. You're walking with Jesus. You seem to be thinking that God is leading you, but how could he lead me into a dead-end street? What is going on? And dead-end streets are terrible places to find yourself, but we need to know what to do when we find ourselves in dead-end streets. And this morning I want to speak to you on how to cope with detours, dead ends, and dry places. Because maybe today you find yourself in a place like that. You can end up in a marital dead end or dry place, a vocational dead end where your job just doesn't go any further, an emotional dead end or dry place where on the inside you feel like you're dying, a relational, a financial dead end or dry place, and you can find yourself in a physical detour, dead end or dry place. So number one, the first way to cope is this. We need to realize this important principle this morning. God's perfect will often leads to impossible places. If you're in an impossible place, it could be God's will this morning. So don't freak out. Recognize that impossible places could be the perfect will of God. If the situation isn't impossible, how will you see the possibilities of God? And it says here that it was not by accident that they got here. It was his perfect will. Both the detour and the dead end were perfect will. And they were changed into deliverance. Isn't that true? Number two, this is what you need to remember. What's chasing us is not as powerful as what's leading us. What's after you today? And the devil, the enemy of your soul, is chasing you because he profited from you. And the minute he can get you discouraged, when God's leading you, he comes to highlight, oh, dead end, eh? So where's he now? A bit of a detour, hey? He must have forgotten about you. And pretty dry. Isn't this the God of prosperity and provision that your Rivers Church tells you about? See, he wants to discourage you to go back. But you need to tell him, hey, get lost. Someone is leading me. What's leading me is far greater than what's chasing me. Number three, the third thing you need to know is this. God's will is personal. Isn't that wonderful? Protecting, preparing. So when God's will is on your life, it's personal. He's very personal. He protects you. He prepares you. But it's also progressive. See, that's the challenge. It's progressive. In other words, it unfolds. You see, didn't Israel, the Bible says in the Psalms, he led them by the hand? Personal. Personal. Wasn't he preparing them? That's what it said. That's why he led them round about, because he wanted them to get a bit of courage and strength. If they went direct, they'd give up. So he was preparing them. Isn't that true? So it was personal. It was preparing. Wasn't he protecting them as well? Didn't he shield them? However, it didn't become apparent because God's will is never crystal clear. It's progressive. As you walk, Number four, the fourth thing here is, this is so important, church. You need to stay confident and guard your confession. Verse 10 of the book of Exodus, chapter 14, says that they cried out. They freaked out. They allowed themselves to start losing faith and talking negatively. They said it was better that they went back to Egypt. No, that's talking rubbish. Can you say amen? Don't allow yourself to start talking rubbish. Keep your confidence in God. Now I'm going to trust you. I can't see it, but I know it'll unfold. And I'm not talking myself down into defeat. They spoke negatively about who God was, who Moses was, what Moses intended. Did you bring us here to bury us? Don't judge your leader's intentions when you're going through a hard place. Keep your mouth shut and keep your confidence up. Don't attack the purposes of God. Don't attack the character of God. Just stay confident. Stay confident this morning. Number 5. This is so important, church. And I alluded to it when we read the passage. Keep moving in the right direction and use what you have. Don't go back. Don't stop. Keep expecting a way to open up. And God told Moses to use the rod in his hand. Use whatever God's given you, the authority that's left in your life. Use it to trust God. Use the rod of the word. It keeps things straight. Stretch the straight rod of the word over your circumstances. This is what's happening around me. This is what's behind me. But I take the rod and I put it over and I see a clear, straight way through it. And I will not allow myself to get distracted. I'm going to keep moving. That's why it says, stand firm, not stand still. Be still. Stand firm. That doesn't mean stay in one spot. It means stand firm inside and then move forward. The Lord said, stop crying out. And they stretched the rod that they had. The waters parted and they saw a breakthrough. Sometimes you think it's impossible. You just keep going. You just keep going. You just keep stretching the word over your circumstances. Point number 6 is very brief. Expect deliverance and give thanks when it comes. How many of you are expecting deliverance from your detour, your dead end in your dry place? The Bible says in Exodus 15 that Miriam and Israel sang when they got through. It's a long song. It's a whole chapter. And they danced. Miriam danced with the tambourine. And they sang and they declared who God was and what he could do and who they were. And they sang and they sang. And here's a thought this morning, church. Why should we wait until deliverance comes to sing? We've read the scriptures. We know deliverance is coming. Why don't we sing before? If you're in a dead end or dry place this morning or on a detour, the best thing you could do is to sing about who God is and who you are, and to declare that no matter what the enemy throws at you, you will not be defeated, you will not turn back, you will not turn around, you will go forward, and you will expect the God of grace who's leading you. You will not look at who's chasing you, you'll look at who's leading you. Come on, I think we need to do that this morning.